Hi, I'm Lisa Leiter. Welcome to this special edition of Chicago Business Today, the year in review in technology. There is so much to talk about on the Chicago tech scene. 2011 marked the year Chicago's entrepreneurial community won some attention from outside the city. You have Groupon's initial public offering that raised $700 million for the company, and the smattering of startups winning big money from venture capitalists. Most notably Grubhub's $70 million, Coupon Cabin's $54 million, and Braintree's $34 million. And Chicago's most established tech company, Motorola, grabbing the headlines as well this year after its planned breakup attracted a Silicon Valley suitor. Google offering $12.5 billion in cash for the phone maker. Here to talk more about it all is Crain senior reporter John Pletz. Well, John, we have to start with Groupon. After a few missteps and a long wait, the company finally got its IPO done, but throughout the year they did lose some top executives. What are we likely to see from Groupon in 2012?
Well, we're going to see if they can make money or not, and that's really going to be the big question for them. There's a lot of promise around Groupon, a lot of hope, but really 2012 is going to be when they have to start showing some things to their investors and to Wall Street.
Does Andrew Mason stay on as CEO?
We'll see. They all indicate that he's the guy, and they didn't show any desire to hire a number two. So he's going to be the CEO.
A lot of people saying that Groupon's success or possible failure won't necessarily define the startup scene here, but there's no question that it has brought attention and money into the city. What are people telling you? We saw a huge influx of investment in Chicago startups this year alone. Is that likely to continue into 2012, or are we going to see these VCs pull back a bit?
Well, the dollar value will probably go down because valuations are down, and that's a good thing for the venture capitalists. It may not be such a good thing for the entrepreneurs, but we'll see whether or not that the investment continues. And that's really the question everybody's got. Was this a blip or was this something more lasting?
What kind of companies are getting the most money?
It's pretty broad-based, actually, here in Chicago. There's a lot of companies that look like Groupon that have a bit of a consumer internet feel, but there's also a lot of business service companies, that are traditional, software that are also doing well. So, we've got a good mix.
Okay. Motorola, an established tech company, grabbing some headlines this year. The company completed its breakup, but then ended up winning the buyout offer from Google for the cell phone business. Google says it's going to operate this company as a standalone cell phone business. But, what do you think is likely to happen?
Well, the folks who know them best think that Google will hang on to it and run it as a phone company. But, it's going to be a delicate dance. So, we'll see how well Motorola fits into Google and how well Google can manage all the many Android partners and how they feel about Motorola continuing to operate within Google.
Sanjay Jha, clearly a big winner with $65 million. But what about the employees in the suburbs? What does this mean for them? Are we likely to see job cuts here?
So far, so good. And that, again, gets back to the question of whether Google really does want to run this as a standalone cell phone company. If they do, they need an awful lot of the folks who are in Libertyville. If they decide that they're more interested in designing software for cell phones, that's a different story.
And, the other question is about our new mayor, Emanuel, who clearly has shown technology is important to him. He hired a chief data officer, and he's already shown that he was able to attract some new jobs to the city. What are we likely to see in 2012 from him, who would be able to continue attracting technology jobs to the city?
Well, we're going to see how big that Rolodex is. Mayor Emanuel reached out to people he knows, both inside, in Chicago with Motorola and outside with EMC. So we're going to continue to see if he can continue to bring tech jobs to Chicago.
What kind of impact do you think this new startup center that some of the entrepreneurs in town are talking about building, what kind of impact do you think that will have on the startup scene here?
Well, more than anything, it shows that there's a concerted effort to kind of help these startups along in a way that really hadn't happened in the past. In and of itself, it probably won't have a whole lot of companies in it. It's not going to launch hundreds of companies. but it's got the right parties involved. It's got the right people behind it.
Okay. Well, John, we'll be watching. Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
And that's it for this special edition of Chicago Business Today. Be sure to stick with chicagobusiness.com for all of your local business headlines. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.